Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I wanted to go over Bucc as a bossy mule and kind of give you guys my overall thoughts and opinions for this class as a whole. I kind of go over some pros, some cons, what I personally enjoy about it, what I don't enjoy about it, and then kind of give you guys my overall rating for the class at the end of the video. First things first, obviously we're starting off with the gear here. Nothing super crazy. Sitting at around 10k stat currently. One thing to keep in mind is that the nodes on this class are all level 20 or if not max, so that is one thing to keep in mind if you are thinking to replicate. The gear that I have, that my nodes are also very high level as well. So to get into the video, I want to start off first by going over the pros for Bucc, and I want to start off with the training for this class. Obviously, as you guys know, the mobility on this class is absolutely insane. You can pretty much clear any map that you want with ease, and that was one thing that I really enjoyed about this class when I was making it, is that the training was super fun, super satisfying. It's very low effort as well. You pretty much just click two buttons at the same time and you do this like somewhat of a super dash through each map, so it gives you a lot of variety in terms of like which maps you can go to, but it also is like extremely overpowered too, so you can pretty much clear every map when you're either on or off totem. So that was one thing that I personally really enjoyed. You also don't have to really worry too much about actually attacking. You put on Bucc's passive skill, which is called Lord of the Deep. It's pretty much one of Bucc's best skills that it has, and it's pretty much this serpent that just spins around your character and attacks every mob around you without you having to do anything. It's super overpowered when you're training, but it's also very good for DPS while you're doing bosses as well. On top of the super high mobility and like the low effort training that Bucc has, it also has an EXP booster as well. It has roll of the dice, so you have a chance to roll 20 or 30% EXP boost. That's something else that's like really good as well. You also do get a little bit extra EXP on top of everything else while you're training. So overall for training, I would give this like a 10 out of 10. Like it's very good, low effort, and the training was probably the most fun that I've had doing any boss mule up until this point. Now that we've kind of gone over a little bit of the training and what it takes to get this class to 220, I want to go over how Bucc does as a bosser. So one thing to keep in mind when making a Bucc as a bossy mule is understanding that this isn't a super heavy burst class. It does have a very good burst, but it's mainly DPS. It has very short cooldown, so it's doing a lot of damage consistently over time throughout every boss fight. I think its main burst skill is Howling Fist, which is only a 90-second skill cooldown, so you're pretty much bursting every minute 30. So it's not like a lot of other classes like Hero or Night Lord or Adele where you're waiting 3 minutes to really put in most of your damage. A lot of the damage from Bucc comes from Howling Fist, but it also comes from its main DPS skill and also Lord of the Deep as well. So that's one thing that's like very nice, is that you can kind of just hop from boss to boss and there's not much downtime when waiting for burst to do the main source of your damage. Another thing that's really nice about Bucc as a bossy mule is that it has decent SI already built into its kit, so you don't have to waste a node slot putting decent SI on the character, and you can also cube your gloves for decent SE and kind of save yourself 2 node slots there to put on for some skill nodes or boost nodes instead. Also, on top of like very high DPS for Bucc, it also has really good survivability. This class has up to 4 iframes, one of them being lightning form, which is pretty much like a final damage buff that also gives you these 3 orbs that you can throw at the boss, but every orb you throw gives you an iframe for I think 2 seconds. The main buff itself lasts for 77 seconds, but you can use those 3 balls whenever you want to within that time frame, so it's pretty much 3 iframes within the buff duration. Also, its main burst skill Howling Fist is also an iframe, but you have to wait until the second form of Howling Fist for it to actually become an iframe. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is that it doesn't have like a specific skill for an iframe only. It's pretty much its burst is its iframe, but since the burst is such a low cooldown, you can pretty much use it in like whatever circumstance that you want. So overall, as like a bossing class, I would definitely give Bucc like a 9 or 8.5 out of 10. It's not like crazy high damage, but like I said, it does damage pretty consistently over time, so you don't need to spend a lot of time actually waiting to go into bosses, which is nice. Obviously, it's always nice to just kind of hop on and hop off of boss mules without taking up as much time. So moving on into the cons, there aren't really that many cons for Bucc, at least in my opinion. The only cons that I could really find for myself were that it kind of walks slow. I know it's kind of contradictory to what I said before, saying that it has very high mobility, but when you're not doing like the super jump, Bucc actually like walks very slow, which can sometimes be like really annoying. It doesn't walk as fast as like other classes do. It kind of feels like it's wearing lead boots. The other thing is it's like really hard to loot with your pet while training, and I think that's mainly because of it's like low speed built into the class, so like the pet moves really slow with you as well, so it's kind of always like teleporting around the map because you're doing like the super jump consistently, so that can sometimes be annoying. And the last con is that it doesn't have a built-in bind in the class, so it's not like Demon Slayer or Adele. You do have to spend a node slot to get a bind. You could probably get away without having a bind since it isn't like a super heavy burst class and it is mainly DPS, but I definitely recommend having a bind on this class, so that is one con. But other than that, like I said, there aren't really a whole ton. They're very minor cons, but overall, to recap everything that Bucc has to offer: 1, it's a very good training class. It flies by to 220. 2, very high in DPS. And 3, it has very good survivability and has up to 4 iframes. Overall, as a whole, I would say I would have to give this class anywhere from an 8 to an 8.5 as a bossy mule. Very fun, very easy to play. But yeah, guys, so overall, I definitely would recommend this class to anybody as a bossy mule. It's definitely one of the best that I've made so far, and definitely one of the easiest as well. But yeah, if you guys have any thoughts or opinions, please let me know in the comment section below, and we can kind of talk about or discuss whatever things that I have potentially missed. But as always, I appreciate you all for tuning into the video, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.